Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. Basically, we are going to talk about the software company has done the ban to that poor guy. Basically, he has done lots of hard work, and then also basically he got this type of trouble by the Indian software companies and Indian governments, Indian Supreme Courts, Indian High Courts. Basically, so we are going to talk about this basically. So I will take one more example of the torture basically he has got from the Indian software company and Indian human resource basically. Basically, uh, he was doing lots. He has done basically lots of work in computer, and basically he was working in lots. He was working with mobile also. He was basically designing one project basically that was basically in Word document. Basically, he has designed, and that before that basically he has done lots of analysis and basically he was doing lots of things. Then basically somebody tracked him basically. Somebody tracked him means basically this project was going to be very big project basically for him basically, and for this was totally unique project basically. But basically when this project somebody knows that his this project is ongoing basically, how they tracked that also I don't know. Then basically he was basically got some problem basically, you can say. His brain was damaged by their human, basically some human Indian human resource company and few set of Indian software company, both have become one. And then basically his brain was damaged basically, so he was basically admitted to ICU. And like this, like basically lots of hand head damage or also basically has done by the set of software companies and set of human resource basically connected with the Indian software company, basically Indian human resource. So basically, if any software company gets this type of authority to damage any head of the particular person, that is basically by default it's approved by the Supreme Court and High Court basically. That is by default basically, because without any Supreme Court, High Courts, nobody in this world can damage their head, anybody's head basically. That means if you want, if basically your body parts is getting damaged, that means somebody without approval, it's not possible. So basically, when they were basically going to damage on that night, basically, his head was damaged in morning, basically. But basically, this plant was done of his damaging his head basically in night only. So basically, in night only, they might have taken the approval from the Supreme Court. It might possible they might have taken approval few days before only of the Supreme Court and High Court that basically we are going to damage his head from the computer basically and from the mobile device basically. From basically there are many software basically that basically if you know the entire blood cells of that particular person, then basically you can easily damage his head basically. So they have the entire data of blood basically, how they got the data of blood. That basically is one of the data science project basically, you can say. One entire person's entire history basically is kept in one of the database. From that basically they might have got. So basically, like this, basically he got the blood. They basically got the blood cells information of that particular person. This is basically live. Basically, this has happened basically, and basically, like this, basically there are doctors also are there. Basically, they also know that this has like this. Basically, they have, it's happened, and basically doctor also not done anything. Basically, to you know, basically he should not get any problem in future. Basically, they have just given few medicines. Basically, nothing else they have done. So basically, whoever done the damage of his head, basically they have damaged actually his career. Basically, you can say if he's thinking more than basically more than limit basically, then his head basically will get pain. Basically, you can say, but he might not be. He might have taken some good medicine, so that's why basically brain might be. But if he's taking that medicine data also that Indian software companies and Indian remote resource might be having that. So according to that also they might have done lots of plan and daily they might be damaging his head also. This also you can say. So like this basically it's talking about the head damage which has happened by the which has created by which has not happened, it has basically created by the software companies and the software human resource, Indian software human resource and Indian software company collaboration basically with the help of high courts and Supreme Court group basically, because without high court and Supreme Court approval, nobody in this world can damage anybody's head, anybody's hand, anybody's uh, eye basically lots of people there his eye was also damaged. So just see the torture level basically that person has got basically with the approval of Supreme Court and High Court basically. So you can just imagine basically the torture level he has he has basically got with that time basically he was using the phone of Geo. So basically Geo basically you can Geo basically SIM is there basically. So he was using Reliance Jio SIM basically. So that means he basically that SIM basically also SIM company basically the Reliance SIM company basically they also have supported that software company and human resource company that are basically Indian human resource company and software company because from that SIM the data was passed to his head basically you can say. And that time basically he was using some assembled computer. So that time basically that assembled computer basically was data was also taken. Just see the information keeping of the each and every house basically by the software companies and how they are using this information that also using. So basically they have used the Geo phone, Geo SIM, and from Geo SIM basically they have attacked his head basically. And then basically this morning basically his head was damaged, and then basically he was in ICU for 2 to 3 days. So just imagine the torture level. His head was damaged, and that also very badly basically. Then basically he was in ICU for a few days basically, and like this basically is the company software company is going to pay his money, whatever money and whatever damage he has had basically it's a lifetime damage na, basically he had if you get any damage in hand also in leg also then basically it's a lifetime damage basically. If doctor will say that yeah your hand and leg is perfectly fine basically, but the natural hand and natural head and natural leg basically which you was having that is basically already lost basically because it had damage. Once the damage happens it's a lifetime damage basically you can say. If your eye is getting problem that means it's a lifetime problem because medicine doesn't give 100% authority that you are going to get a proper treatment basically because there is no medicine. If medicine is there basically then it's a very costly medicine. For that costly basically you need the money also that software company is not going to give you because they just only know to damage the head. And after damaging the head they were basically doing the Jashan party. That also basically few people have told me that they have done the Jashan party in the big software companies basically because his head was damaged. So up to this level basically the Jashan party has also happened. And basically again I'm repeating it's not all software company, it's a few software companies. But it might be possible he's not getting job in all software company. That means all software company might have become one basically to damage his body parts, to give him torture. He's not supposed to get the job. Even the police department also might have joined this group because to blocking the mobile number without police permission, you can't do it. So in this basically currently he is using the Airtel SIM. So basically Airtel people also supported police department basically you can say. Airtel department also supported police department that you can block his mobile number basically you can say. So just see up to the torture level basically software industry is doing to that particular boy, and up to the level torture they have already done because this which I am discussing they have already done. Repeating the words, the torture which I am discussing just now, they have the Indian software companies and Indian human resource and the entire group has already done this torture. Currently, basically, torture ongoing is basically that is he is not getting the job and uh, he's not getting job and he's basically applying in many companies basically, but he's not getting the job because of the human resource and in the Indian software companies who is telling that he is not going to get the job. Whatever he do, whatever happened, we are not going to give him job. Basically, they are like this. Basically, they are telling that. So basically, we are stopping here. We are going to discuss something more about software company doing ban in next